And we're back, folks, right here on WWE Network and Chill as I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content they watch on the WWE Network as well as on the USA Network. As today we're talking Season 2, Episode 6 of Miz and Mrs. entitled Mike the Miz Day. So we start off this episode with Maurice and Miz backstage at SmackDown, where they encounter Dolph Ziggler backstage. And he feels Maurice's baby bump, which she doesn't like all too much, and that becomes a common theme throughout this episode, the people touching her baby bump and her not liking that. I'm sure that's not an issue that's isolated to just her. I'm sure that's a common thing with women that are pregnant. But anyway, so he feels her baby bump, and while there, Dolph informs The Miz that he's been invited to an all-star celebrity Cleveland baseball game, which I guess is a big thing in Cleveland every year. Ziggler tells Miz, "You're invited, the whole family is invited." Maurice, though, has second thoughts about it. Although it sounds cool, she doesn't really want to go because she's not feeling up to it. She's having headaches. Her body hurts. She's pregnant, obviously. She doesn't want to go and be around other people. Her feet are swollen, and she's just not up to it. So Miz, he is a great husband throughout this episode. So he'll make shirts for Maurice, which I'll get to in a moment, and he'll change the size on the shirt from like large to small. Or like when she stepped on the scale, she noticed how she only added on, like she only gained 5 pounds as opposed to, however many pounds it was, because she was feeling, bigger than normal because she's pregnant, obviously. But Miz, he messed with the scale for it to say 135 pounds. What a good husband, because it's all, what she doesn't know won't hurt her. So I thought it was a very nice thing for him to do. So she eventually agrees to go, and she's like, I feel like I'm up to it, it'll be fun, blah, blah, blah. George, Mr. Miz, Miz's dad, picks up Maurice and Miz and Monroe Sky from the airport in Cleveland, and it just turns out to be a complete disaster from the get-go. He has a fucking lawn chair in the back of his car for absolutely no reason that he said that he found from the trash, and he thought he would like it. He thought it would be a nice piece of furniture to have. Maurice sits in it outside of the car when they're loading the luggage into his car outside of the airport. He left his car sitting right outside of the airport, where you walk in, which you're not supposed to do. Maybe it's a dead airport over where they live. I don't know, in Cleveland. But typically that's not something you're supposed to do. You're not even supposed to sit in your car at that spot, let alone leave your car there. So thankfully he didn't get towed or anything, or he didn't get in trouble with the cops or whatever. But he does have the lawn chair there. Miz is like, listen, I know you, he said that he said he found it in the trash, or maybe he bought it from someone who found it in the trash for $30. And he's like, listen, Dad, I'll give you $30 just to get rid of it because we have no room for your crap with our stuff in the car. You knew you were picking us up. Why is there a lawn chair in the back of your car? So he eventually asks about the $30 after he says that, and he gets his $30 from Maurice while they're driving. But that's not all. He's driving like a maniac, and Maurice is getting nauseous, so Miz is like, listen, I'll just take it over. I'll drive from here. You're a mess. And they find out on the way back from the airport that George actually set up an autograph session for The Miz, because that's what he does. He's not a con artist, but he likes to use his son's fame for profit and turn it into autograph sessions every time he's home. And he's like, listen, I'm not doing this again. We're home to see family, see friends, and that's it. Do the celebrity game, whatever, and move on. That's all this is going to be. So no autograph sessions. I'm sorry, find someone else for it. So he eventually, Mr. Miz that is, finds Dolph Ziggler to replace The Miz at this autograph session because I guess he's in town for something else as well. So they stop at a family's house, which turns out to be a total party. George, invites more than a handful of people, and, they enjoy themselves. Monroe Sky enjoys herself, as does Maurice and Miz and whatever. But Maurice is still getting sick of people touching her pregnant belly. She absolutely hates it. And George tells Maurice at this party, hey, listen, I got a surprise for the next day. And she's like, listen, I want no part of this. You've had enough surprises. I'm pregnant. I'm hurting. I want no part of whatever surprise you have planned for us. So forget about it. Anyway, Miz, to make Maurice feel better about the whole belly touching thing, he makes her a shirt. He makes her a shirt it's like a plain white tee in big, bold black letters that says, don't touch it, or don't touch my stomach, don't touch me, or whatever. I forgot. It says don't touch it on it, actually. I wrote it down here, and I don't know why I didn't read it off, but it says don't touch it. But it has a minor issue because it's a size too big, I think, it's a size too small. And as a result of being a size too small, you can't read the don't part because it falls under her boobs, I guess, so you can't see it. So it just says touch it. So He has to get another t-shirt made. I thought that was a funny minor mishap there with the t-shirt. So anyway, I don't know why Dolph is there, but Maurice runs into Dolph at like a hotel, or she's with Monroe Sky. The Miz is not there. They're chatting along, and obviously this is all staged because they advertised this at the beginning of the season as like what's to come on the season. And Dolph, as he did at the beginning of the episode, wants to touch Maurice's baby bump, her pregnant belly. So he goes to touch her stomach, and instead she bends down at the exact wrong second, and he touches her boobs instead. This is what was advertised a couple episodes ago for this season. And as you can expect, it's the most awkward moment. And of course, it's completely staged because they wanted an additional story to tell on this episode. So I get it, but it was a funny kind of staged, where Ziggler was like apologizing profusely, and Maurice was like, it's fine. But she's like looking at the camera like, whoa, what just happened? That was weird. That whole thing. So just a very awkward moment, to put it lightly. Miz and his dad, meanwhile, go to the batting cages, which is where Mr. Miz informs his son that he had an appearance lined up for him, that he eventually, the appearance that he was gonna do, that Miz said no to. He had Dolph do it instead. So Miz is like, are you kidding me? So he texts Dolph, I guess, just saying WTF. He's referring to the fact that his dad did the autograph session for him, but he said no, so he had Dolph do it instead. He said WTF in regards to his dad setting up this impromptu autograph session, not what Dolph did, which was touch Maurice's boobs by accident. Because Miz had no idea about that at this point in the episode. So Dolph responds as if he's thinking about it, as if Miz is talking about what he just did, although he doesn't know about that yet. So there's a bit of a lost in translation conversation going on here between the two. Meanwhile, Miz finds out at his hotel that his mom is being flown into Cleveland as well. He's like, what's going on here? You're supposed to be in California. You live with us now. You're supposed to be in California. Why are you here? He's super confused. So, and I didn't know this, by the way, because Miz's mom meets up with Miz's dad, and they all drive together. They all drive around. Miz, Maurice, Monroe Sky, George, Miz's mom. They all ride in the same car, which we found out here that they're separated, which I guess would make sense. If Miz's mom lives with them and George lives on his own, I guess that would make sense. But I didn't know that officially until this episode, so that was answered for me here. So they drive to Miz's old high school in Parma, Ohio, and they're like, what is going on here? Because there's a bunch of people lined up outside the school, like hundreds of people. And Miz is like, are you kidding me? You set up another autograph session for me? Only to find out it was actually a celebration for the Miz in regards to it being officially named Mike the Miz Day, July 23rd in Parma, Ohio. Per the mayor of Parma, Ohio, it's Mike the Miz Day. And this was all courtesy of George Mizanin. So he's in for a pleasant surprise. The mayor is there, like I said. Dolph Ziggler's there, which is there was no celebrity baseball game. This was what he was referring to all along. He was trying to get Miz to go back to Parma so he could be there for the big celebration that he had no idea about. So Ziggler, while there, tells Miz, they get on the same page. They clarify what the text conversation was actually about, with Dolph accidentally touching Maurice's boobs, and he tells that to the Miz, and Miz is like, well, what the hell? What did you do? Like, he's freaking out as any husband would. And then, as Dolph tells him the news, Miz gets called up on stage to give a speech about Mike the Miz Day in Parma, Ohio. So, of course, again, this is completely staged, but I thought it was funny because it's a dumb little story, and their performances are so over the top, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Miz finds out from the mayor himself that he is actually the second person since the mayor, became the mayor 8 years ago. Miz is the second person ever, not the only person, but the second person ever, to get keys to the city from the mayor himself, which is pretty cool. He said he's grateful for the honor. He gave this whole big speech. Kind of felt like he was cutting a promo, which, it should come as no surprise given his talent on the microphone. But as the day progresses, we find Maurice in the school itself, sitting in a fridge because she's so damn hot, she puts her head in a freezer, which is really funny. And Monroe Sky's like wondering what the hell is going on here. And Miz meets up with her, and then Mr. Miz, George, and Miz, that's where he thanks his dad for putting this whole thing together. They all fly back to L.A., and they're actually folding clothes with Monroe. They're trying to teach her that, how to fold clothes. And Miz admits that he actually used to work at Abercrombie and Fitch, I believe. Or was it I think it was Abercrombie and Fitch, which makes complete sense. I could totally see that. So while they're doing this, Maurice discovers that the baby is kicking within her. And the baby's kicking. And I forgot what the name of the baby ended up being. Jade Mazanin, or Jade something Jade. I don't remember. But the second baby is kicking in her stomach, and she's super amazed by this, and they bring in the moms, and they're like, oh, that's so cool, blah, blah, blah. And Miz, to close out the episode, needs closure. He asks Maurice, how did Dolph accidentally touch her boobs? How does that happen? And then she shows him how it happened, that she bent over, he went to go grab the stomach, and that he accidentally grabbed those instead. And he's like, now I get it. And that's how we go off the episode. So again, a lot of this was completely staged, the boob thing specifically. But the Mike the Miz Day I thought was awesome. No pun intended. He obviously had no idea it was coming, or maybe he did and we don't know. But I thought the surprise of him finding out was really cool. The entire episode, per usual, was very entertaining. So check out Season 2, Episode 6, Mike the Miz Day. This edition of Miz and Mrs. right now on the USA Network, ahead of Episode 7 this coming Wednesday on USA Network. So speaking of which, my reviews of the Miz and Mrs. show are up every single Friday, usually right here on Network and Chill. Unless something else comes up, usually they're up every Friday. If not, they go up every Saturday, whatever. So my full reviews are available right here on WWE Network and Chill. Also check out my reviews of the Big Show edition of the Big Show episode of the Broken Skull Sessions from a few weeks ago. The Ruthless Aggression show airing on Mondays on the WWE Network. The all-new WWE 24 on R-Truth, which I thought was great. There was something else that aired in the last couple days. They had a new Day of on the Royal Rumble a few weeks ago. That was very good, which has also since been fixed. I forgot to mention that. I think I did mention that, but the audio was messed up when I recorded the review of the Day of episode, and it's since been fixed, which is cool. I was notified of that. And I thought there was something else that went up on the network in the last couple of weeks, if not the last week or so, that I saw or I heard was really cool. I don't remember. I think it was the R-Truth thing that aired on Sunday, and it was the Break It Down with Trish Stratus. That went up last Sunday, which I thought was also really good. That went up here on Network and Chill on Monday. My Ruthless Aggression review went up on Tuesday. I think there's a new Chronicle coming. I think this weekend after Elimination Chamber, or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. It's on Shayna Baszler, I think. And I think there's a new documentary airing after the pay-per-view on Sunday. So the Chronicle must be going up tomorrow, hopefully. And then I think. And then after the pay-per-view is the FCW documentary, which looks awesome. So my review of that should be up on Monday. Ruthless Aggression review up on Tuesday. So a lot to look forward to right here on the channel in the days to come. Until next time, guys, be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content as we continue the road on to 4,000 subscribers. Have a great rest of your weekend, folks. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.